Now, when we add matrices, there are many properties that apply to matrices that also apply to real numbers. And so these are just a few of them. First of all, the commutative property. The commutative property says that if I take two matrices and add them, okay, if they have the same size when I add them, it doesn't matter which order I add them. Okay, I'll of course get the same thing. The associative property, similar to the associative property for real numbers, is that if I'm adding several matrices, and I'll just do it with 3 here, if I group the matrices, well, if I group those first 2, it would be the same. I'd get the same thing as if I were to group those last 2. So it doesn't matter how we group sums of matrices. The third property is the identity property. The identity property is a property saying that there is a matrix that will, if we add that matrix, it won't change anything. And that matrix is a 0 matrix. So I'm going to say A plus and then 0. And to indicate that this 0 is a matrix, I'm going to put a little subscript, m by n. Okay, and that will equal A, where A is also an m by n matrix. And so if you add a matrix of all zeros, of course, that's not going to change the matrix. And finally, there's the inverse property, which is that for each matrix A, there is a corresponding inverse, additive inverse, which we'll call negative A. And when you add that, you get the 0 matrix, that same identity matrix for that size. Now, none of these should be very surprising, okay? That's really just saying that, you know, just like with real numbers, if you add 0 to a matrix, you still get that same matrix. And you can always cancel a matrix out, essentially, get 0 by adding its negative.